Okay, here we go. It says we are live. Yay! We love it when it works like it's supposed to, or we think it does. Anyway, yeah, I just had to double check the privacy and make sure it was public and I wasn't like
Yeah.
broadcasting privately again. Hello there, and welcome to the Homeschool Teachers Lounge. This is episode 9. Misty, can you believe we have been doing this for 9 whole episodes?
That means that it's been 9 weeks of homeschooling already. So, whew,
I
have
know,
we
but that feels
accomplished that
good.
much? It does feel good, but
I
it's like, it could go
yeah,
both
yeah.
ways.
So we are so happy that you're here today. I am Pam Barnhill, and I have the Your Morning Basket podcast and the 10 Minutes to a Better Homeschool podcast. You can find all of that at pambarnhill.com, and I help homeschoolers bring more truth, goodness, beauty, and delight to their homeschool days. And this is my very good friend, Misty Winkler.
Hello. Yes, I am Misty Winkler, and I blog and podcast at simplyconvivial.com. And convivial means doing life cheerfully together, basically. So I write and talk about homeschooling and homemaking, kind of managing all those pieces of life without overwhelm or perfectionism. So,
Yeah, so much fun. So much fun. Okay, so managing life. How has your life been going this week? How you been managing that there, Misty?
well, as far as life goes and not homeschooling, I did organize my pantry last week. I had to expand it because the space was that I had was just not big enough for the canned goods, and it just got messy too quickly. So I got to buy white plastic containers at Target. I had an excuse
Oh,
to do
fun.
that. I love doing that.
Love it. Love it.
So that was my life management last week, and homeschooling went decently well. There were about 2 days where it was at the end of the day, and I realized that we hadn't done Latin. But
Okay.
by the end of the week, we caught it up. So we managed.
Why does Latin fall through the cracks?
It's because it fits best right between morning time and class time, which is a hard time to get everyone um, together. Well, it depends on if morning time's delayed, then we don't have enough time, or if yeah, the kids want, they want help on their math, other things pop up, and then it is after class time, and then it's lunch, and then it's like, oh, we had other things to do today. I thought we were done with school for the day.
And we didn't actually get it done.
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
How
Okay.
about you?
Well, it was a good week. I'm
Good.
trying to think like nothing really stands out as like really sticking in my head. But now that you say that, I'm like, oh yeah, we haven't done Japanese today. The little one snuck away from me, and he actually loves Japanese, but we didn't do it. So yeah, so being consistent and stuff like that, like math, it's easy to be consistent in math. Math is just kind of there and you do it, but those foreign languages and things like that, it's a little bit harder. So yeah, you reminded me we totally didn't do Japanese today. And then sometimes things like getting the right supplies messes up.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to be making cheese for our chemistry class.
Ah,
A lot of fun. But so much of the milk these days is ultra pasteurized. It doesn't make cheese. So
right.
we need to go to the dairy in the next town over. Fortunately, we have a place close by where you can buy milk that is not ultra pasteurized. I think I said something last Thursday like, okay, this needs to be like a driver's ed field trip. You need to drive over and get the cheese, like it's all, or get the milk because it's all back country roads, and then we can make the cheese. And I think they still haven't done it. So it's like, I'm moving on with the science. We'll see how long it takes us to get into making the cheese. But the biggest hit last week, I think, at our house was I remember that I had a molecular model kit tucked
Ooh,
away. And so I brought it out during science and they started building, I think the first thing they built was a molecule of caffeine.
That's a fun
And
one.
yeah, so they had so much fun with it. And then so it's been out every single day in science since then. And like so we're doing kitchen chemistry. And so we're talking about the different molecules. We're reading this great book called Napoleon's Buttons.
Oh, yeah.
And we just started it. The first chapter is about pepper and nutmeg and cloves. And so like there are these different molecules, these chemical molecules in there that like makes your mouth burn and different things like that. So my son's sitting there building all the different molecules and really having a good time with it. So that's been like the biggest hit. And now he wants a bigger molecular model, model kit. So I have to see like, do I want to order this or not? But so that was kind of the biggest hit last week, and they've been really, really enjoying that. So yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, lots of fun. So yeah, school's going well. When you don't have a lot to report, I think those are good days. If it seems like nothing weird or exciting is happening, that's like, those are what I call good days.
The things are just marching along.
Exactly right. Yep. So we said today that we were going to talk about toddlers. Now, before we do, I want to do a little commercial break here and let you know that I think we're now on iTunes, right? There was one little thing that was holding us back from being in yep. So now you can go to the Apple Podcast app or anything else that pulls from iTunes. I'm not really sure how all that works. I know that we were.
Yeah, it is most podcast apps pull from iTunes. So now that we're there, you should be able to find us pretty much anywhere you get podcasts and catch replays or old episodes.
Yep.
There. Fun.
Right. So if you miss us, we love for you to come and join us on YouTube because you can comment and ask us any questions or anything like that, and we can chat with you. But if you miss us and you just want to listen, you can certainly do that on the go in your podcast app. So yeah, that was my little commercial. And now we're going to talk about, so how old is your youngest again, Misty? Like
my oldest 8? Is going to be 9 next week.
Okay.
So we have one more year until everyone's in double digits.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's been a few years since both of us have had toddlers, but I think that we can probably, even though we've blocked a lot of it out, we can probably remember what it's like to homeschool with toddlers.
I was with a group of moms from church the other day, and someone asked one of them a question. She said, I don't know, I had babies. I didn't really make memories during that time because I wasn't sleeping. I think that is so true.
Yep. Busy. So for us, I will say that my situation with homeschooling with toddlers was that at the time I had a toddler. So I think we can agree. I think you and I, Misty, would both agree that things get easier when you have your youngest is 4.
Yes. 3 is actually one of the harder ages to homeschool with.
Yes. Yeah. Things are totally hard with 3-year-olds. From the time they start moving, like 9 or 10 months, the time they start pulling up, they can get off the blanket that you lay them on. Everybody's like, oh, I have like a brand new baby. Homeschooling's going to be hard. And I'm like, not yet. The year after, it's going to be hard. I mean, if you could just kind of like zombie through it with little sleep, the first year is actually easier than the second year. And then,
they feel like all surfaces have to be empty.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but from that until about age 4, those are kind of the tougher years. And for me, by the time my youngest was 4, my oldest was only 7. So, it was still, and so this is, I think, like the point I want to make before I turn it over to Misty and she can really give us how to make this work. But the point I want to make is if that is you, if your oldest is 7 and you are like frustrated and worried about things because you have toddlers, don't be, because your oldest is 7. And I know you feel like you should be doing a lot of stuff and like, am I not doing enough? And I'm really worried about this. But when your oldest is only 7, don't worry. Do a few minutes every day, be consistent with a few minutes. And when I say a few minutes, I really do mean like under an hour. you know, it can even be at a few times during the day. You don't even have to do it all in one spot. But do things, small things, and be good with it. And then, enjoy living life together and include the toddler in that. And that, you know, that covers a lot of ground when you're in the situation that I was in. Yeah. Yeah. So what if the situation's slightly different though, Misty, and you've got maybe like a 12 or 13-year-old with toddlers?
Yeah.
Things we can do there.
I know you have to have the priorities clear. That is helpful because, if there's 10 to 12-year-old and a toddler, there are probably also several in between there. And so, the 6, 7, 8-year-old, really, if they're doing, they're getting a lot from what's going on. So I focused mostly on the older two, who I combined as much as I could. And, 10 minutes of phonics 2 or 3 times a week was what the middle children got. And,
and they still learned to read.
They did. They still learned to read. Some of them learned to read without me. I mean, that's what it seemed like.
It doesn't always happen, but yeah.
No. One of them needed more phonics. And then the younger one kind of actually learned to read before the older one. A little awkward.
It happens.
But yeah. When I had, 7, 8-year-old and a toddler, then I was also pregnant. So there was really like no energy or oomph. But we did a lot of audiobooks or things like geopuzzles, which is like their geography puzzles where the puzzle pieces are the shape of the countries and you put them together to form the continents. And so, that and audiobooks and a really short morning time, like a 15-minute morning time, was school.
Yeah.
A little bit of reading practice, even, sometimes a little bit of math, but math was also hit or miss during some of those times. And it all worked out. You can play catch up the next year. The toddler, the kids learn from having younger siblings too. And so sometimes I think a lot of moms struggle with the school day not being like a school because,
right.
They want the whole time to be all focused work. And that just doesn't happen when there are younger kids. And as someone who was homeschooled, and I'm the oldest, and there were 7, so I actually always lived with someone 4 or under, except for 2 years I was away at college until 5 years ago when my oldest aged out. So like I've pretty much lived with a toddler most of my life.
Wow, that's true. That's crazy.
So
God bless you, Misty Winkler.
And expectations going into it that like I knew what life with toddlers was like. So I didn't expect to homeschool with a set focused table time for several hours a day. It was here and there. It was practicing reading aloud while I'm nursing counts as school.
Yes.
Someone else reading aloud counts, which includes audiobooks. 5 to 10 minutes of phonics is enough. It adds up. You don't need to have a whole huge session to get someone reading. And if they aren't reading till they're 8, it doesn't, or 10.
Yeah. Can I say something? Because the point of phonics is for somebody to be able to read. And so, like 5 minutes a day over the course of the long haul and they're reading, well, then you've met the goal. And the same with
Mhm.
spelling and the same with math. It's not to clock as many hours as you can. It's to reach the end goal, which is a kid who can read, a kid who can multiply and divide and add, and a kid who can spell or write a composition. And if you can get there the fast and easy way, oh my goodness, get there the fast and easy way, you
Yes,
know?
for
So,
sure.
or the slow and tiny chunks or whatever. So, yeah.
Well, and besides copy work, I didn't do any writing with my kids till they were 10.
Till 10 years
So,
old is, yep, yep, that is
so
exactly right.
yeah, we were mostly out of that toddler. Those are really intense years. And the kids, the older kids who are doing school with a toddler underfoot, are learning all kinds of wonderful character lessons that are going
Yep.
to reap as much fruit in their lives as knowing math. So just go with that, and know that they are learning how to not be the center of the universe, how to get
Yep.
along with other people and be flexible, and work in a non-quiet environment. And all of those are skills that are going to benefit them their whole lives. So
Well,
um,
yeah.
all kinds of stuff is going on besides the actual school lessons that count.
Yeah, I'm going to throw my youngest under the bus and tell you that, like, of all of them, he is the one that cannot work in a non-quiet environment. He is the one, like, if the sister's like way in the other room working on piano or something like that, he's the one who like wants me to make everything quiet so he can get his work done. And there may be some sensory issues going on there, but like the rest of them are able to roll with it a lot more. And that probably comes from the fact that he was the one making a lot of noise when they were little trying to get their schoolwork. Uh, okay, so Nancy has a comment here. She says, my 10-year-old is jealous that the toddler doesn't have to do schoolwork.
I'd
Yeah, I got
probably
just
laugh at the 10-year-old.
yeah, I got a few words for you here, Nancy. It's suck it up, buttercup. So I think the 10-year-old needs to be reminded that when you were a toddler, you didn't have to do schoolwork either. Nobody was making you do schoolwork when you were a toddler. So why in the world would I make the toddler do schoolwork? So other than that, there are benefits to being the oldest and there are responsibilities. And this is one of those responsibilities. And then I might try to, every once in a while, like, I wouldn't say I'd have to sneak in benefits, but I would just remind them when they were getting one.
Yeah,
Hey, this is one of those benefits you get for being older. So,
yeah.
yeah. But mostly it's just suck it up. Yep.
Because it's
So I
probably
even
not so much about the toddler not doing schoolwork as the fact that he has to. Yeah, there's
yes,
adjustment.
he or she. Yeah.
Yep.
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 Very much so. Yep. I even have suck it up buttercup on a pillow. Did you know that? I have a throw
I
pillow
didn't.
with it on there. I keep it on my bed and my husband gets mad when I make the bed and put it on his side of the bed. So just depending on how I'm feeling that day, like sometimes I'll be real sweet and put it on my side and sometimes I put it on his. But yes, I have it embroidered on a throw pillow that we keep in
That's
our room.
funny. I saw it on a bumper sticker a couple weeks ago, and I thought of you. I was like, oh, that reminds me of Pam.
Oh goodness. I really probably do not say that to my kids very often. It's just, but it is kind of my motto. Ah, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, there are just tons of tips for toddlers. And if you were to Google, what do you do with toddlers during your school day, you're going to come up with all kinds of stuff. And keeping them close to you can
Mhm.
sometimes be a really good thing. If you have a safe place that they can play, like a playroom next door or on the floor in the living room, that can also be a really good thing. I think it was probably when my youngest was 3 that he started wandering out the back door. We had a
Mm,
fenced backyard.
Mhm.
completely fenced backyard. There was nothing really in there that he could get into. And I could see him from the window where we were sitting and doing school. And so if he wanted to go, I let him go.
Mhm.
And I could just keep an eye on him out the window in that fenced backyard. So that's something. If you got a safe place like that, there were no like farm implements or anything laying around back there. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't make the toddlers, they didn't have to sit at the table during most of the things. For the most part, they could wander. I we have a lot of memories of a toddler just like prancing around the room or the next room over during morning time.
yep.
And that was where having a shared morning time binder or some things on recording during morning time really helped because morning time could keep going if I had to go pick up a fussy baby and put him in bed.
Right, right. Yeah, so that's good. And I often talk about Misty's morning time binder and how, the older kids could be trained to keep it going. And that is something you have to teach the older kids because when you get up and walk out of the room, they're not just going to do that out of the kindness of their heart. That's something you have to teach them how to do.
That's true.
So,
It helps when you have an oldest who, loves to be in charge. So then you say, okay, if I have to go do this, like it's your job to keep it going. So,
yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Um Little like finger foods, any kind of thing
oh
like
yeah.
that, strapping them in. Anytime you could utilize mealtime or snack time to get some things done, that's a good thing. And then quiet time in the afternoon. Now, the jury's out on whether or not you as a mom should do things while your young children nap. There are a lot of people who are like, no, I need that break. I need that break. Then there are people like me who are like, nothing makes me feel better than checking something off my list. I would rather do that than get a break. So I'm going to use that time and make that happen. So do whatever works best for your personality. Um, and then busy boxes that, you hear this idea all the time, but put a few things in a few different boxes that only come out during school time, change it up often, you know. And it's great when they get older because then they want to kind of be like the big kids.
Yes.
And that's where it's like, don't put anything serious there that they actually have to do, but give them options which to them look like big kid work that they can do.
I printed
So.
off lots and lots of copies of your number pages for math.
Oh,
I
yes.
want they want math too. It's like, well, here, play with the blocks. Here's a number page, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And we can link to those fun number poems and number pages. And Dawn was saying she needed a nap, and Dawn did a great job. Everybody did quiet time for years and years in her house. Um, and so, and she took a nap every day. So, yeah. All right. Well, hopefully some of those toddler tips helped. um, but yeah, so next week, Misty, I do not remember what we were talking about.
let's see. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick here. I know that you had some great ideas. Here we go. Well, it's going to be November next month. It'll be November 1st. And you had the November slump. It's a thing. We
Yes,
could
it
talk about
is.
that.
Talk about getting ready for that slump and how maybe you can slump proof yourself just a little bit coming up in the month of November. So, yeah, that sounds great. So, we'll be on Misty's channel next week. So, come over there to find us. We would love to see you. And, Misty, what's the link for getting an email notification an hour before we go live?
Yes, I got it wrong last week. It is scolasisters.info/lounge. And
Okay,
that will
so Scully Sisters, LOU. Lounge is a hard word for me to spell.
it.
There we go.
Yes, and I will try to send it at the right time next week because I sent it out 2 hours ahead and it said in 1 hour. So it was
A little off. Those
a little
time zones,
off.
they'll get you every time. So, all right. Well, that sounds great. Well, we will see you next week. We are so happy when you come and join us, and be sure to sign up to get that email notification, and check us out if you need to listen to the replay on a podcast app. And until then, we'll talk to you later.